Apple is set to unveil their new MacBooks this week. It's rumored to be one of the biggest upgrades the MacBook Pro line has ever seen. So I think there are three, new features, three of the big changes that we're going to see in these MacBook Pros. Number one, the power button will have a TouchID sensor in, so you can log in very quickly and securely. Number two, there'll be a chassis redesign, so it'll actually be thinner and lighter than previous generations of MacBook Pros. It will not have a wedge design like the MacBook Air, for instance, but it will be smaller than the current form factor. And I think the biggest new feature, the biggest game changer, if you will, is by far the dynamic function row that some have been calling it the magic toolbar based on trademark filings by Apple. Essentially what this will be is an OLED panel replacing the function row of keys, and because it's digital, it'll be able to be adapted to the specific application that you're running. So that could be first-party apps and hopefully third-party apps. Obviously support would have to come from the third-party developers, but it's actually really exciting and it allows for a lot of interesting use cases. And I think there are some times with physical buttons with that function row that, alright, I don't need to have access to my volume up and down controls, but there's some other function that I would love to have quick access to. And it would be especially cool if inside the applications, maybe you as the end user could customize what things you see on that OLED, dynamic function row or magic toolbar or whatever it's called. But it's a very interesting new feature that's going to be coming to the MacBook Pro line. It, again, will be shipping in a 13-inch model and a 15-inch model. Last year when we saw MacBook Pro updates, the releases were staggered based on Intel CPUs. This year, the updates will come, should come at the same exact time. They'll be using new Intel Skylake CPUs, and probably the higher-end 15-inch models will actually have an option for AMD Polaris graphics cards, which is pretty cool. The other big change is USB-C ports. Now, some rumors are saying, look, it's going to have 4 USB-C ports, nothing else. Actually, 4 USB-C ports and a headphone jack, and that's it. Others are saying that there'll be other ports on there, maybe a Thunderbolt 3 port. We'll have to see in terms of I/O, but it seems like USB-C is here to stay. We saw that introduced when Apple started selling the Retina MacBooks. And so USB-C will be on the MacBook Pro. Hopefully there'll be some sort of adapter, especially if the only I/O on here is USB-C. In terms of the display, should be the same Retina resolution, but there will be improvements. One rumor that I originally saw a long time ago, but haven't seen recently, are different color options. You know, with the iPhone line, there's now 5 options. iPad line, there are several options as well. And with the MacBook, you have several options besides just the silver that has become kind of ubiquitous with Apple. It would be really great if you could have that customizability with the color so that you could have maybe a black, the silver's cool. You know, some people like the gold and rose gold. I know they're popular. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but it would be really great, especially to have a sleek black or even a jet black, you know, however they want to market it. But hopefully colors are something that will be coming as well. Now, the other update that's going to be coming when they announce the new MacBooks this week is a new 13-inch model. It has been rumored to be a MacBook. So when the rumors and the analysts have called it a MacBook, people aren't really sure what that means. There are two options. Obviously, it could be a 13-inch MacBook to complement the 12-inch Retina MacBook, or it could be an update to the 13-inch MacBook Air. I personally think that it's going to be an update to the 13-inch MacBook Air. I think Apple is going to get rid of the 11-inch, position the 13-inch MacBook Air as the entry level, and then drop the price on the 12-inch Retina MacBook. I think eventually you're going to see the end of the MacBook Air line once the MacBook line prices come down on that. Regardless, if it is a MacBook Air, it seems one thing is very clear. It seems that it's going to come with USB-C ports. That's something that we're kind of seeing across the board with Apple migrating over to USB-C. It makes a lot of sense to have, you know, the same ports standard on all your laptops. It's kind of weird that for the last couple years with the MacBook, that's getting charged with USB-C and has a USB-C charger. All the other things have MagSafe. There have been some rumors that instead of just being a normal USB-C port, it'll be some sort of hybrid port that uses USB-C tech but has some sort of MagSafe-like characteristics so that, you know, it doesn't rip off your computer onto the floor if someone trips on the cord. Very unclear exactly what that means. Again, that would also mean that this is different than the USB-C in the MacBook. So that standardization question suggests that you won't have that feature with the USB-C charging. But there you go, the two new MacBooks, the MacBook Pro and the 13-inch MacBook Air that are coming later this week at Apple's Hello Again event. I'd love to hear your feedback. What is your favorite feature of the new MacBook Pros? I think the OLED panel, that display panel, that magic toolbar could be a really game-changing feature, or it could be something that we don't really use. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please leave it below in the comments. Thanks for watching.